Hey, you guys, hope your day went well. Um, as you may know by now, President Trump is in Walter Reed Hospital in the presidential area. He has office there. That's kind of cool. I think that's really cool. But the last I heard, he had a low grade fever and was fatigued. And the first lady, Melania Trump, is also tested positive. And the last I heard, she had was it headaches, and there was another thing. It was headaches and body aches. Oh my goodness! You'll have to check my blooper video because I said it correctly then. Okay, but there was no report of fever at that time. The rest of the family, I believe, has tested negative, and yeah. So, and also Hope Hicks, the president's aide, has tested positive. The first of me hearing that she had tested positive, there wasn't any symptoms that was stated at that time, and I haven't heard of any symptoms since then. And so, yeah. So, the reason I hopped on right now, as you can see, I'm dyeing my hair and I'm dyeing it pink every couple of years. I do my hair pink, and I thought this year that I was going to do it pink. And so here we are, pink, pink, pink. And my pink stands for this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, October. Women, please do your daily exams, your self exams, or your partner exams, and also do your mammograms. And so this is an awesome reminder for those that forget. This is a reminder to call your doctor and make your appointment for your yearly mammogram. Excuse me. I dye my hair pink because I have had 3 family members that I know of pass away from breast cancer. My great grandmother on my mother's side, my grandmother on my mother's side, and my aunt. And yeah, it's something that you can never notice, and all of a sudden it's too late. So please do your exams. So while I'm sitting here, what I was actually doing was I was sitting here letting my hair do its thing, and I was just gathering some information for my next video. And I came across this. I like listening to China in Focus, NTD, because they have a outside opinion. Okay, and they are not ran by the CCP. Okay, and so I guess here we go. I came across this video and I thought I'd share some of it with you, and I'll put the link in the description below because I'm only gonna do some. But here we go. Let me bring you a little closer. Ooh, gotcha. Okay, I'm going to bring you a little closer. And I'm going to play a couple clips. And I will put the full video in the description below. And I think this is so sad. Here in America, we have the 4th of July, which we celebrate our freedom from the king. And which was the beginning of freedom in America. Today we still fight for freedom. Today we fight for freedom. I live in California. We are locked down. I feel like I'm being held captive. I do not understand it. This every year we do herd immunity, flu season. This is the same flu from 2002 and 2003. This is respiratory. It's respiratory, Carla. Yes, it is. That's what the R is in SARS. Yes. And I'm sorry for everybody who gets to, unless they had horrible lungs, if you get to the pneumonia part of it, it's because you didn't take care of yourself or your doctor didn't take care of you. Seriously. What antibiotic were you on? Google your medicine. Google your family's medicine. For those of you whose family members have passed, my heart goes out to you.
Yeah, these are really nice, Amanda said, and yeah, they work really well. I don't have that problem because
And no, not, oh yeah, she's just saying that. No. I have, it has hit my family also. Just like every year. My heart goes out to the victims of the flu, the victims of the virus. And so, I'll be pink in a minute. I was watching Avatar the other day. Oh, I love the colors. That would be so cool, you guys. You want to do that one day? Just paint ourselves all a color. What color would you be? Comment below. Hey, and while you're at it, subscribe, hit the bell, give me a thumbs up, and leave a comment. So, here we go. We celebrate, back to freedom. We celebrate our freedom, right? Throughout the year, there are different days that represent freedom, and we celebrate those days. And so on October 1st, just so happens to be the day that the regime, the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, formed their gang and they celebrate it. They celebrate it. And so there were mass arrests on the anniversary of the Chinese regime. A huge fire breaks out and there were many casualties. Here's a little bit from China on Focus.
Activists called the day nothing to celebrate but much to mourn. 2 explosions already occurred this week. On Thursday, a fire broke out at a scenic mountain area in central China, causing 13 deaths. A top scholar describes democracy as poison and an evil cult. One privilege of senior Chinese Communist Party officials is revealed when a recorded conversation goes viral. 2 citizen reporters are still detained after revealing the true situation of the epidemic in Wuhan. And an 88-year-old whistleblower doctor of the 2003 SARS outbreak could still be under house arrest. And the U.S. House Intelligence Committee released a new report on how to meet the challenge from China. And the head of a British spy agency says the West misunderstood China. Welcome to China in Focus. I'm Tiffany Meyer. Hong Kong riot police are swarming the streets again, making arrests and preventing crowds from gathering. It's the anniversary of the Chinese regime's rise to power. But activists and some residents say it's not something to celebrate, instead calling it a day of mourning.
Hong Kong riot police arrested nearly 70 people on Thursday. It was an effort to stop pro-democracy marchers gathering at the Chinese regime's anniversary celebrations. Police had banned the protest, citing pandemic restrictions on group gathering and outbreaks of violence at previous marches. Hundreds of officers conducted stop and search activities and cordoned off areas. The protests came the same day Hong Kong Chief Executive Carrie Lam said stability had returned to the city. Protesters sought to march against Beijing's imposition of a sweeping national security law on Hong Kong.
Today is a day for national mourning. What should we celebrate? Hong Kong has become a place like this. What's worth us celebrating, right?
But there's nothing to celebrate.
So that's how America is starting to feel like, too. I know California is. This is total regime. Which one's regime? Newsom's regime at the moment. But it is China's regime. Because don't forget, didn't he just spend $1 billion with China instead of spending it with the United States for masks? Really? And then, hold on one more second. Hold on real quick. Hold on. Okay, you guys, sorry about that. I had to look for something and I found it. And so the next protest was in London. And please listen here. And yeah, no, we're not doing communism. We will not become, America will never be a socialist country, a communist country. No, you can try and bring in your little bit of whatever you think you're going to try and do, and we will fight it every time.
Calling for an end to the Chinese Communist Party on the CCP's National Day.
Sorry.
Protesters are out in London outside the Chinese embassy, and arriving in the early evening was Hong Kong businessman Elmer Yuan.
PRC is not a nation. It's a bunch of gangsters, 90 million of them, dominated by 50 families, crime families, and they've been exploiting the 1.3 billion people, the biggest and the most sophisticated gangster system in the world.
He says the Sino-British Joint Declaration should be null and void and wants to take the Chinese Communist Party to court. The UK government says China has broken the declaration, an agreement that allows Hong Kong to keep its unique freedoms that are not in mainland China.
The court system is good. You have an independent court. I'm going to the court to sue the PRC for violating the Sino-British Joint Declaration, and the sovereignty should be stripped from the PRC.
Earlier, outside the embassy, the CCP flag was in flames, Hong Kongers expressing their frustration and attempting to clear up at the end.
The Chinese regime is under increasing scrutiny since the pandemic and the passing of a national security law in Hong Kong. Protesters in London include Hong Kongers.
Right at this moment, there is a nice, peaceful protest. They are actually doing yoga. Yes. All right. Let me find the next cue, and I'll be right back with you. Still pink. And then there's a couple other things going on. One with WeChat. So the Supreme Court knocked down Trump blocking it because they don't want him. What was it? They don't want, because of First Amendment rights. But the app itself is strictly censored. Grossly censored. The epitome of censorship. I don't know. That one doesn't. I don't WeChat, so it really doesn't. But you guys, watch out your information that's on your phone. Watch out.
Administration's WeChat sanction.
The chief editor of WeChat, Jin Xuan, said WeChat would crack down hard on accounts, even suspending them permanently. It would target accounts that repeatedly violate WeChat censorship rules and refuse to rectify their speech. One of the victims of WeChat censorship is the CCP virus whistleblower Dr. Li Wenliang. He was punished by Wuhan police because he posted several warnings on a WeChat group, and the police accused him of posting false statements on the internet. His warnings were later proven to be true, and so the authorities had suppressed him knowingly. He later died of the virus.
if you guys remember, Dr. Leon, I talked about him way in the very beginning. He he took a picture. He did a live and called the WHO, the World Health Organization, and told them that he had a case of, he saw a person with a case of SARS. And they shut it down. All of a sudden, he had the disease and he was dead. And so that is, I believe, the true whistleblower of the Wuhan virus, also known as the China virus. And that's because it comes from China. Wuhan, actually. So, or at least that's where the center is. But we know it came from China. So, oh my goodness, I slurped. I'm going to do a slurping video. I'm going to add it in and see. You can look for it later. See what you think. Let's see. There was one other point, and I'll be right back. Oh, yeah, that's right. And so, he posted a bunch on WeChat, and they were suppressed, and he was charged with spreading lies. But as we see, it later on came out to be true, and that is what we have now. We have SARS, which turns into the coronavirus, and so Google it and protect yourself. Build your immune system. I'll be right back. Okay, so I had it backwards, and they're going to tell you the correct way. It's not the SARS, corona, SARS. They're going to tell you the correct way right now. This is the whistleblower. This is about the whistleblower from 2002, 2003 SARS outbreak.
And Chinese authorities aren't just cracking down on citizen journalists reporting on the pandemic. A whistleblower who exposed Beijing's cover-up of the SARS pandemic 17 years ago could still be under house arrest. The whistleblower, Jiang Yanrong, is 88 years old. This February, his friends told British news outlet The Guardian that Jiang has been under house arrest since last year. His wife said he has no means of communication with the outside despite his poor health. Like Dr. Li Wenliang, who was one of the first to warn about the CCP virus, Jiang emerged as a national hero for exposing the regime's SARS cover-up. The SARS virus emerged in China's southern Guangdong province in late 2002. Like the CCP virus that swept the globe this year, they both belong to the coronavirus family.
That's how it
And
is.
once inside the body, they both target the lungs. At the time, Jiang was a semi-retired senior surgeon at an elite military hospital in Beijing. Number 301, the hospital serves Chinese military and treats top Communist Party officials. In March of 2003, Jiang learned that his hospital leaders met with China's health ministry officials. The leaders were told that SARS had already emerged in Beijing. But with China's most important annual political meeting fast approaching, the hospital leaders were asked to keep the news quiet. In early April, China's then health minister, Zhang Wenkang, said at a press conference that Beijing has only 12 confirmed cases. He claimed that SARS was under control and that it was safe to work, live in, and visit China. Jiang recounted being upset by the health minister's speech. He said at the time he knew at least 80 SARS patients at 2 Beijing hospitals. Jiang tried to...
All right, well, I would not want to be a whistleblower anywhere, because it but in China, like, they lock you up and just put you away. They decide they're not gonna prosecute you, which means they're not giving you a sentence, but they're not letting you go either. I don't know. All right, so there there's a few other subjects, and I like listening to them because, yeah, Joe Biden is trying to give us to China because he owes China billions. Billions. Because, yes, he lied at the debate. He cheated because of the wire. He lied because he said his son did not receive that money. The Treasury said they did. He did. They did. He did because of who his daddy was. And now it's time to pay up. You're not paying up with America. Fight for your freedom. Fight for democracy. This is a worldwide fight. But it most definitely is a fight in America. Fight for your freedom. Re-elect Donald J. Trump on November 3rd, 2020. And remember, God loves you.